The biggest challenge I've had to overcome is I'd have to say is to slow down, believe it or not, because like I said, the big life change, son, becoming a father, you start to worry about making sure that your kids have the life you didn't have, but then you don't want to sacrifice the time you have with them at that moment. So that's what I mean when I say slow down, because like I could work until 8 at night, no problem. But from 5 at night when I get home, that's me and the little man. That's the undivided attention he gets from me.
Welcome to the Onsite podcast. We chat with contractors, educators, industry professionals about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it.
What's up? We are back. Episode 18 of the Onsite podcast. And today we have one of the contractors from in the community. We got Sam from Coronation Construction. Sam, excited to jump into this conversation with you. Let's start it off with telling everyone where you're from and what exactly does Coronation Construction do?
Okay, well, first off, Brandon, I want to say I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on. My name is Sam from Coronation Construction. I run a construction and renovation business that focuses more on like high-end remodels and custom builds in London, Ontario, and the greater London area. Just, I don't know if I can I give a little bit of background about myself?
Yeah, yeah, man. Dude,
just
talk
from here,
about
just jump
yourself.
in.
Yeah, go out.
Okay. I will, man. I've been in construction since it's been illegal for me to work. I fell into that trap of if you want to get rich, work in construction. So from like a very young age, while kids were working at McDonald's, I was moving bricks. And then
there we go.
ended up moving to London to go to school, construction engineering management. Ended up working a few office jobs, project manager here, estimator there, site supervisor here. And then you realize that the only way to really make money in construction is to own the company itself. So that's when I basically decided to start Coronation Construction there. And then also I started playing around with drywall work as well, just because I had some skill in there. And then, broke off, did my own thing, and here I am now.
Cool. And how long have you been on your own for?
About 7 years now.
Okay, there you go. So that's some time in the game. You would have experienced all of the ebbs and flows. I mean, you're still experiencing the ebbs and flows of construction and, and managing your clients, managing your suppliers, managing, your subs and managing your family. So, I'm excited to dive into this. That's a long enough history. All of it is in London, Ontario, all 7 years?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so there'll be some great stories within that. So awesome. Well, I'm excited to dive into this with you. If anybody is looking to follow Sam with Coronation Construction, you can just connect with him on Instagram. We're just going to put that right here. So you can, there you go. Oh, that's on that side for you. So it's at Coronation Construction. If you reach out, primarily it will either be Sam or his wife that is responding to those messages, but they're super responsive and they've got some great projects going on in the London area. So if you're looking for a general contractor, I would definitely reach out to Sam. He's a great guy, great communicator, and that's probably, at the top forefront of what a successful contractor will be, just somebody that's great at communicating. But I want to dive into this. So this podcast is all about getting on site, some of the projects that you're working on. So Sam, I want to hear about, a standout project that you've experienced in these 7 years of being on your own. Something that stands out, maybe good or bad, but just a project in general that, you're really proud to talk about, or maybe you just want to bring some awareness to. Just hitting you with it. So is there a project that you've worked on that has stood out, or that you are working on, or that is coming up that stands out for you?
I mean, to be honest, the first thing that comes to mind is a project we just recently finished. Mm-hmm. And it's mostly because it's one of those things where it's like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Yeah. And I just want to preface that it wasn't like anything that we did. It was a basement reno. It was supposed to be fairly simple, new ceilings, new floors, new everything like that. And then when we started doing the demo, we noticed a bit of black mold, right?
I remember.
So that's never a good sign. So the whole experience kind of taught me that like how important communication is, especially with the clients and other sub-trades and stuff like that. Because once the mold was found, then we had to stop the work, notify the homeowner, and then get it tested. Got tested. There was some remediation required. So the whole time we're working with the homeowner trying to get this sorted for them. We get the remediation done, only to find out all the studs are rotten. So
no.
Yeah. So for something that was meant to be fairly simple, only a few weeks, ended up taking a few months. And just the
So
whole
home,
time back
home
and forth going with the homeowner with that, making sure they're in the loop, they're in the know, no questions, no surprises, no more surprises. Sorry.
right. You know, and that is a homeowner's worst nightmare. When you're running your budget tight, you know, you've got a project that you're doing, you know, and you're running this budget super, super tight, and then you get hit with mold, and then you get hit with a framing issue. I mean, what happened if you got hit with like an aluminum wire issue or some other problem, you know, along the way? And yeah, it can be very impactful. It can stop a project in its tracks and really kind of, you know, unfortunately leave that client high and dry. These are the uncontrollable, unforeseen situations that just come up, and there's limited proactive solutions that really can be applied. You said you learned a lot about communication and through that whole process. What are some of the things that you I guess you took away from that? I love that, you know, you have the confidence that you can say that, you know, that you learned something, because dude, in construction, most contractors are never going to say they learned anything. You know, they're always just going to be like, oh, it's somebody else's fault, or oh, it's this over that, or they're deflecting. So I'm not saying that you did anything wrong here. I'm just saying, what exactly is it that you felt you took away from that experience that you learned the most?
I'd probably say that it all comes down to taking the time to communicate, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of guys in our industry realize, like, once like shit's hit the fan, they want to get things sorted as fast as possible. So they might even like not even notify the homeowner and just
Yeah.
move, like, to try and maintain that schedule, just keep moving forward. Where I found it was like very important to like keep them in the loop, to let them know, hey, we found mold. I've gotten in touch with a mold specialist who's going to come in and test it. He's coming this day, and I'll let you know once he sends me his report what he recommends. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it stalled the project a little bit, but at the end of the day, I didn't want to take any risks, especially with mold. They had young kids in the house. Like, I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure everyone was safe and everything was up to snuff.
Right. And so this obviously increased the budget as well, right, on this
Yes.
project. What was the client's reaction to that?
I mean, they were understanding because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it was something they had to take care of. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I was like as upfront as I could be about it. And here's the thing with all kinds of renovations like this, I like to tell people upfront, like, this is what the scope is. I don't know what's behind this wall. I could tell you stories about all kinds of stuff I found behind walls, from like toy skeletons to money to dead animals. Like, you wouldn't believe it. So like this, yes, it was a surprise, but was it really?
Right. Yeah, you're always prepared for something.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're always a little bit excited. I mean, whenever I was renovating a old home or an old you know, structure, I was always like looking for like hidden things in the walls, like old, you know, I found like old cigarette packs, old Pepsi cans, old beer bottles. But I've never like I actually have I found a note from the carpenter written inside of a stud that I thought was pretty cool. They're just talking about the project, and you know, sometimes that's like a little bit of pride connected into it too. So, I mean, sometimes you're looking for good things, and then I guess sometimes you're looking out for bad things. I mean, I think you lucked out that the client was understanding, because if I'm
Mm-hmm.
being completely honest, some clients would not understand, and they would be fucking pissed. And it's not your fault, you know, at the end of the day, that something came up. But I love that you approached it with communication, because that's really all you can do. You know, you can only dive into something and deal with whatever's in front of you that day. And the best way to deal with that thing that is in front of you that day is to communicate it to the client. A lot of people, contractors or people just in general, deflect and they avoid hard conversations. And that's part of this business. It's like you have to have this uncomfortable, hard conversation as quickly as possible, because if you don't, then you're going to leave the client questioning about what is going on and how things need to move forward. So I think that you approached that really, really well. And I just want to take a 2-second break for a quick little ad.
What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Onsite podcast. So here's the deal. We want to grow this show and we need your help. It's simple. Pay the tax, share the show. That's it. Let's get back into it.
Okay, so did great communication. Client was okay with the change order or with the changes. Did the project go up like 10, 20%, or what was the increase?
It was, like I
30?
said, it started out being fairly simple. New floors, new baseboard, coat of paint. Basically, had to redo the framing and all the wiring and everything like that. So
Oh,
basically,
okay.
refinish their basement for them.
Oh, start all over. So it's probably
Yeah.
like a 50 to 60% increase.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough. And I've been on projects where clients are understanding and where clients are not. And so I think you lucked out there. And I think that my only thing that I would take away from that is just imagine if that client didn't
Mm-hmm.
respond the way you got, and if they weren't reasonable, how that would have changed. And this goes for anyone. If you're hiring any service-based business owner into your home, understand that they're just trying to do their job. You know what I mean? You've made your decision. You've hired that person based on whatever the parameters are. And if you're working with any of the contractors that we work with, or that that we coach inside the Elite Builder Society, obviously they're going to approach everything with respectfulness, communication, and honesty. And so it's not like Sam was trying to like make more money. We got other things to do. He's got other projects that probably, if anything, it cost him quite a bit of money in time and delays with other projects and other clients that probably wanted to wanted to work with him. So I'm sure it created pressure for both people. So I think you did really well with that. Is that project done now, Sam?
Yeah, we're all wrapped up.
All wrapped up. So what are you on? What are you on to next? What are you working on right now?
So right now I have 3 projects. We're finishing another basement, pretty simple, standard stuff: bedroom, rec room, bathroom. But then we're also finished turning a outdated bathroom. Think about those like 80s and 90s giant soaker tubs that take up like 60% of the bathroom, and
Corner
then
ones?
it wasn't even in the corner. It was in the middle of the bathroom. Just this
Oh,
monster of a tub, like bigger than a king size bed,
oh shit.
and just like a tiny shower enclosures. And we're turning that one into a wheelchair accessible bathroom,
Oh,
which
there
is
you
cool.
go.
Curbless shower, but like she still wanted to maintain like the soaker tub and everything like that.
You guys
And
just
then
did. You guys just did an accessible shower, didn't you? I
yeah, we
saw on
did
your
one a few
social.
months ago as well. Yeah,
Okay,
they're really
nice.
cool.
Back to
I
back.
like, yeah, I like that we're able to help people with the solve an issue, fulfill a need, basically.
Yeah,
And plus it makes you feel good to like revamp these bathrooms and make sure that everybody in the household can enjoy them.
yeah.
And then
No, yeah. Go ahead.
no,
No,
I was just
continue.
gonna finish wrapping up. We're doing another kind of top floor renovation where we're turning 2 bedrooms into a 1 bed and master suite. So like think a giant bedroom, closet, and a bathroom.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you and everybody else in the industry can understand what it's like to add plumbing where there was no plumbing, and all the
Yeah.
holes and patches and joys that stuff is.
Yeah, man. That, and I mean that's the excitement is trying to really figure out how to take an existing footprint and make it work with a new footprint. And the more reps that you get doing that, I mean, you've been doing it for 7 years, but the more reps you get doing it, it's literally like blindfolded. You can almost like plan exactly where everything is going to go while the walls are still there, because you can almost anticipate the way things are built. But again, depending on who's building it, you never know what kind of surprise you're going to be up against. But I want to talk about that tub. I remember working on a project that had a big ass tub like that, and tankless water heaters, hot water on demand systems, they weren't around. So you had this hot water tank heater. I don't think that it could actually fill that bathtub. I don't think it could. So I think you would have to fill it.
In
I remember
shifts.
in shifts. You'd have to fill
Yeah.
it, and then you'd have to put a warming blanket on it, and then fill it again. And then, after several hours, you'd be ready to have a full tub. It's like literally having a hot tub, in your master ensuite. Probably not too good for the environment. Not that, people are really too focused on that. I mean, some people are. Maybe the government's focused on the environment, but I know that contractors are trying to bring things together as pretty as possible. So, well, those are 3 pretty cool projects that you got going on, and I love the accessible element. I've done a few of those myself, and the one thing that I remember I was working on the accessible projects was that were you working with like an OT or anything, or these were just people just wanted an accessible bathroom?
The first one was actually a referral from a designer that we work pretty closely with. And then the
Mm,
other one was just, they saw we did this accessible bathroom beforehand, and
yeah.
they wanted to inquire and get one done themselves.
I've worked on bathrooms where they incorporate an OT, which is basically like a health professional that kind of ensures that the space is designed and functioning for that person and their needs and disabilities, or inabilities, or whatever you might call. But one of the things that you kind of connect to accessible bathrooms is you think like hospital. You think that it's like, has no design, no creativity. It's just like white fucking stark walls with grab bars and super institutionalized. Whereas I remember the project that you did, it had a curbless shower. It was all tile, and it was nice. And I think that when you incorporate accessibility with design, or just creativity, or a little bit of thought that goes into it, you can really, get a product that looks good and functions as well. So, who came up with that design on that project? And if you want to follow this project, you can go to Sam's Instagram, which we talked about earlier on, at Coronation Construction. You can check out his project. There's an accessible tiled shower. I think it's like is it like a teal or a gray tile?
It's like teal, kind of like an aqua green blue.
Yeah.
I don't know what the color is. Yeah.
So who came up with the design?
The designer, in all honesty, she came up with the footprint of the bathroom. A few things had to be changed just to allow for that accessibility. One of them being is like, again, we had to eliminate that old school shower enclosure. I like to call them a steam box, because you get in there and it just turns into like a steam shower essentially. And then we had to rework the door because there wasn't enough space, so we had to put in a pocket door. And then that required like reworking electrical work and stuff like that. And then also one of those special sinks that you can roll the wheelchair underneath.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool.
So lots of different elements to incorporate. And so the homeowner, was it younger, older? What was the person that needed this space?
They were an older couple.
And both of them needed accessibility, or
no, it was just the husband there.
Okay.
He needed the accessible shower.
I remember working on a project for a little girl, and I don't remember the disability that she had, but they needed very specific elements where, like, they bathed their daughter in this tub, and so they needed an accessible tub with access points, and we actually ended up putting the valves right inside, like on the front deck of the tub. We actually put the valves inside the deck, so when you're on your knees cleaning this person, you could have one hand on the person and then a hand on the water if you needed to, inside this little box. But it just took a little bit of creativity and a little thoughtfulness about how they're trying to manage themselves in the space, and it sounds like exactly kind of what you did as well with that project. So I mean, those sound like great projects. I love the accessible ones because you're not only transforming a space just for beauty and to bring it up to current design, but also just functionality. So I think that you're making a really big impact, and I love that. And you're a great guy too. So I mean, those people are getting the ability to work with somebody that's awesome. Okay. Now let's talk about your family a little bit. You got a wife and a little one there, fresh little one. Sounds like he's a handful.
He's a little asshole.
I remember talking to your wife, and she was like, I think mine's broken. And I'm like, I don't know what. And I was like, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Because I mean, my kids were probably broken at one point too when they were fighting back. But tell us a little bit about your family. How long you been married for? How old's your little one?
You trying to get me in trouble? Asking me how long I've been married for?
Ish.
No, I've been married for about 6 years.
Okay.
We've been together for, I want to say 12, 13 years. So we've been together for a while. She's my better half. She motivates me. She is my unpaid assistant and everything like that. She does my social media marketing and manages our social media and everything like that. It's like Coronation wouldn't be where it is without her.
Yeah.
And then what can I say about my little man? He's hilarious. He's fussy. He's the first grandchild on both sides, first grandson.
There you go.
I'm sure many people can understand what that's like. And yeah, I'm excited.
High demand.
Oh, he's high demand. He wants what he wants when he wants it, and he's gonna get it.
Yeah. I know that. So how old is your little man?
He is going to be 8 months in a week.
Okay, yeah. So he's still little. Are you guys thinking you guys having more, or where you at with that?
So this is a point of contention between my wife and I
Oh
want
yeah,
to get as many as I can as soon as I can.
yeah.
I'm just thinking in the future, man, like free labor. Uh,
Free
you know what I
labor.
mean? But
Yeah.
no, I think we're probably gonna stop around like three, maybe.
Yeah. Cool,
Hopefully
man.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, I remember when my son came into the earth. It's crazy. I don't know where I was in my life in comparison to where you would be right now, like with business and stuff like that. But there are milestones to their development, and you're really going to enjoy those milestones for sure. My son's 17 now, going in, just went into grade 12 today, which makes me sound old, very old. But no, dude, it's cool. And it is kind of like free labor, but you have higher expectations
Oh
from
yeah.
them. Like I was hard on my son for sure, just on the way he swept or whatever he might do. I was just like, oh, we could do it better. And so I'm excited for you. But there's these cool moments where like they'll hold an impact and they'll put a screw in. And I mean, you're a ways away from that stuff, but it's not that far and it comes
Mhm.
quickly. And so just cherish every moment that you get with them, and don't stop, because I've got two. I would have loved to have three for sure. Even though in the moment, I was like, hell no, they're broken. I'm good. And I did, and so I definitely would have had I would add more. But awesome. So you got a lovely family, got this business is growing, all good things. Tell us a little bit about where you'd like Coronation to go. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
Ooh, big question. I mean, just to kind of backtrack a little, I've never been much for like kind of planning ahead. I've been more
Hmm.
like we're gonna
In the
focus
moment.
and just try to continue in the moment, continue the momentum. But ever since I've become a father, it's been a lot more of like I need to focus on not what's coming next month, but like the next year, 2, 3, 4, like 10 years ahead. I'm planning right now, but to be completely honest, I got into this game, construction, renovations, what have you, to I want to build custom homes. I love working with designers and customers and figuring out what suits them, how they can make the space their own, what kind of finishes they want. If they
Yeah.
want like the 12-foot ceilings, they want the 17-foot living room with the massive fireplace. Like that's the thing that really gets me going. I love to see it. So my goal within the next year is to build one house and then
Hmm.
go from there, snowball within hopefully by 5 years. We're doing like 50 to, you know what, shoot for the moon, 100 homes a year. You know what I
Right.
mean?
There you go.
That's what I would love. And then I would love for my little man to be running my subdivisions there,
There you go.
getting yelled at by all the other trades and his dad.
Oh shit, he doesn't even know what he's getting into.
Oh, no way, man.
No way. Well, I mean, I love the ambition, and I think even just since we've been working together, that all of that ambition just requires action. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how big the fucking dream is. The dream could be so big that it seems unobtainable, but if you take action and you do the work and you put in the reps, anything is possible. I think that you possess the skills that you could definitely do that. And you just have to continue to be consistent. I love all of our calls that we are on. You're always prepared. You're always excited. You've gone through the modules. You're booking your calls. And one of the things that I really notice with the people that we work with in the community, the ones that are growing at the highest level are the ones that have implementation of the things that we talk about, but then they also take action. And so there's a lot of action that will be between now and then. But if we continue to work together, I'll definitely do everything I can to help you fill those gaps. This first custom home, though, that you want to build, it could end up being a spec house. That might be an option for you to consider, where you build it yourself and then sell it. The risk with that is that can you market that property, which you've got your wife that helps you a lot. And I can attest Coronation Construction does have some of the best social content out there. So you've got this marketing pillar right inside of your pocket, which I'm glad that you gave her some praise, because I think that some people take those people in their lives that are helping them with their business for granted a little
Mhm.
bit, and I think it can come back to bite them. So I think that it's really important to kind of shine the people that help shine you. But talking about that first home, what are like a couple elements that you would love to incorporate in that house? If you could do whatever you want, right, within reason on your first home, would be some elements that you think you'd incorporate into that home?
You know, it's funny that you ask me this, because like I'm sure people who would like to build their own home, they think about this stuff all the time and they like add little ideas here and there. But this is something very small, but it's something that I kind of think is like the greatest idea ever. I'm not sure if you're aware of, but in a lot of Japanese homes, the front door is lower than the rest of the home. So that when you come in, you can take your shoes off right there, take a step, and leave all like the dirtiness behind you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining it
No,
well,
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
but
So that you can leave the outside in a lower space. Yeah, no, I get it. Does smell fall? Like sometimes people have smelly shoes, and so
I just people with smelly feet, I don't really invite them in my house, to be
fair
honest.
enough.
No, I'm
I don't have
kidding.
smelly feet. My feet are like peaches and rainbows.
But like it's stuff like that, stuff like little nuanced thoughts that like maybe the average homeowner doesn't consider, but like me
Yeah.
seeing these things all the time, I'm like, that's a good idea.
Little
You know what I
sunken
mean?
front entrance.
Little
It gives
sunken
you also
front entrance.
the other thing with that too is if your ceiling heights are paired up everywhere else, that gives you a higher ceiling in that area as well, and then you have kind of a grand entrance. One of the things I really, some of the areas that I really enjoy about a home, I'd love to get into, but we're just going to jump into a quick little ad here, and then we'll jump into some of the things that I would suggest maybe are things that I really like about custom homes.
Hey, we've got an ad here. Make sure to pay attention. What's up, guys? Are you a contractor or business owner looking to take things to the next level? Well, I've got something for you. The Elite Builder Society is a community that helps contractors grow and scale. For $49 a month, you can have access to 20 group coaching calls. Look, you're probably wondering, how am I going to show up to 20 calls, Brandon? That's a lot. And yeah, it is a lot for $49 a month. But every call is recorded so you can watch it at your leisure. But you get the best experience when you're live on the call with us. Okay, at the end of every webinar, there will be a Q&A where you can ask the industry expert questions that you can implement into your business. Look, if you're ready to take things to the next level for $49 a month, go to ebsworks.com and register today. I look forward to seeing you inside the community.
All right. Well, we're back. And again, if you are looking at joining our community, there's no better time than right now. So go to ebsworks.com and you can be a part of our group. Now, back into favorite elements in a custom home or into your first home. The front entrance thing, I agree with you. I think that allows the bad juju to kind of stay down. And then also for you to be the ability to create a grand entrance. I think like a front entrance is almost like that first element where you have that first connection with someone. And, if you're into guests, or just proud of what you own or what you've built or what you earn, having a beautiful front entrance, I think, is really, really important. It just sets the precedent for the rest of the home. Another area that I believe is really, really important is a dining room. When I renovated my house, it had a dining room, and I was like, we don't need a dining room. We don't need a dining room. We'll just do a big island. And I quickly realized that with a big island, you're sitting there like looking at the person next to you versus like having a conversation across from them, and made very awkward. So we quickly incorporated a dining room into the space. But I think a dedicated dining room, I think, is really, really important. I really like a master ensuite. I think that creating separation, depending on the square footage and, what your cash flow looks like, I think that, having that separation, that independent room for, the head of the house to kind of have their own private space outside of all the other people, the little ones, I think is really, really important. And then in that, one of the things that I really, really enjoy is a steamer. I really like a hot steam shower. I mean, you were just talking about that it was something that you're taking out. That's a different shower. Like, It's not intentional steam. This would be intentional steam. Those are some of the things that I really, really enjoy. Any other thoughts on any other things that come to mind that you would like to incorporate in this house that you're going to build?
I mean, to kind of build off of your whole ensuite thing, I'm a huge fan of a ensuite on the main floor.
Okay.
Like, keep the kids upstairs, man. Let them do their thing. Mom and dad have their own little nook corner in the house with like their own bathroom and backyard access, closet.
Yeah, no, I
That's what I
like that.
like.
I think that's a great, and you can separate that too from like guests and stuff coming over, or guests can be
Mm-hmm.
downstairs. But I think that having a master on the main is great, and throwing the kids up in a second story or in a bonus room, is a really good strategy. So I think that is. I think that would be a great home, and I think that I'm 100% supportive of you building that, and I believe it'll come together. The goal should be, if it doesn't exist already, that we put feelers out so that can come together for you in the spring. You want to be able to throw that foundation in the ground in the spring, and so a lot of what you talked about earlier, where you were kind of like initially reactive with how you approach construction, and now you're being proactive, trying to look ahead, 5 and 10 years down the line. If building a home is something that you really want, and this isn't intended to be a coaching call, but if building a home is something that you really, really want, I recommend that we really start putting that in the universe, so that we can put a foundation in the ground in the spring. Because if we can do that in the spring, then it will give you all of those other things that you talked about. I think it'll give you the best roadmap to there, and so we can work on that on our calls coming up in the future. Sam, this has been a great conversation, learning a little bit more about you, about your business. Tell me a little bit about kind of what you think some of your strengths are. I know you just onboarded Job Tread. That was a little bit of an uncomfortable onboard, but a necessary onboard. I know it's made a big impact in your sales process, but I know some of your strengths, but what do you think some of your strengths are?
Yeah. I don't know. It's always uncomfortable when you have to talk about yourself this way, but I feel like a lot of my strengths are like I like to keep homeowners involved, but not too involved. You know what I mean? I give them the bad news, but not like the I like to keep them involved in the big picture. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell them like,
Yeah.
oh, we're short a sheet of drywall, but I like to tell them like I like to let them know who's coming, what material is being delivered, and that's why Job Tread was a game changer for us because it enables us to have that schedule up there to make live changes, upload photos, so that they can look in themselves, and I don't have to be the one to be like, hey, today this is happening tomorrow. The most involved homeowners will look themselves and then be like,
Yeah.
see, the tile is coming in today, and like I just want to make sure you'll be there. But like, and then on the other side of that, I try to stay as involved but not too involved in my projects. Like if some
Hmm.
again, to build on the tile, if the tile installer is showing up today, I'll be there this morning, make sure they get set up, make sure there are no curveballs, make sure they have everything they need, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Which
that
is which is really what you're supposed to be doing as a GC. You aren't supposed to be there micromanaging every decision from 5 in the morning till 10 p.m. at night. And that's why I knew that as soon as you implemented Job Tread, and I'm glad you did it early on. As soon as you implemented Job Tread, it would give you a little bit more freedom, but also increase the success of your projects. I know when we first started working together, you were doing a lot of the tasks yourself,
Mhm.
and then incorporating a lot more sub trades and other vendors to help you get more of your time back is also a part of that whole process where we can really give our clients a better experience when we really understand what we're really really good at. And I think I agree with you. Like, I think you're great at communicating, and I also think that you take pride in the work that you do. You don't need to be a tiler. You don't need to be a painter. I'm pretty sure you can paint, but you don't need to. At the end of the day, you don't need to be able to do all those things. And I think as soon as you understood that, that's where the mindset shifted and gave you the ability to kind of onboard more projects and do more work, which is awesome. And I love seeing that together. And Job Tread, again, like I've worked with lots of different. This is not a plug for Job Tread. We don't get paid by Job Tread or anything like that. It's just good. It's just a great product that really can help you organize your projects and give you more success on your closing process as well. Sam, just to wrap this up here, tell us a little bit about what is the biggest challenge that you think you've overcome in the last 12 months, hitting you with all kinds.
Oh my goodness. This is like becoming a therapy session here, man. Like
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
the biggest challenge I've had to overcome is I'd have to say is to slow down,
Right.
believe it or not, because like I said, the big life change, son, becoming a father,
Mhm.
you start to worry about making sure that your kids have the life you didn't have, but then you don't want to sacrifice the time you have with them at that moment. So that's what I mean when I say slow down, because like I could work until 8 at night, no problem, you know?
Yeah.
But from five at night when I get home, that's me and the little man. That's the undivided attention he gets from me.
Yeah, I love that, man. That I think is, I think that there's not enough of that. You know, there's a lot of. I was raised by a single mom, and so I didn't have what you're giving to your son, and so I love that you're prioritizing that, because I think it's really, really important. I do the same thing, you know, with my kids. I try to give them my undivided attention in that moment. Obviously, I'm in business. This entrepreneurial thing, it doesn't end. It's always going, but I try to give myself the best tools possible so that we can have more time together. So I think that's an awesome way to end this, and just shows the type of person you are too. You know what I mean? Like you're, you know, I think that you're just a humble dude that takes pride in his work and exceeds client expectation. I think you're well on your way to your big goals there. But just remember, we got to take action on some of that stuff. So got to start seed planting for that house to come out of the ground, probably in the spring. And I really hope that comes together for you. Sam, it's been a great conversation. Again, if you want to connect with Sam, okay, one last time, where can they find you, Sam? I know they can connect with you on Instagram, but where else can they find you?
So, like Brandon said, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook at Coronation Construction. Our website, just Google coronationconstruction.com. We're there. Leave a comment. If you want us to get involved in your next renovation project, I'm sorry if I'm plugging myself, but I will.
No, you're good. Plug away.
Send us a DM. We have all kinds of submission forms on our website. And if you want to just reach out and give me a call, by all means, my phone number is online as well. So I'm here to help with whatever. No project is too small. But if you got that big house you've been thinking about building and some money's burning a hole in your pocket, my number's online too.
There you go. Well, hey, if you want to work with Sam, without question, you'll have a great experience. And if you want to be a part of that first special project for Sam and Coronation Construction, I'm sure he's heavily motivated to help you bring that together as well. So if you're in London, Ontario, and you are looking to build a home in the spring and you want to put that thing in the ground, I would connect with Sam right now, because it takes a lot of planning and a lot of legwork to do that. So appreciate this conversation, Sam. Thank you so much. If you are following this show, please, again, like we've talked about earlier, we don't get paid to do this shit. We have to share the show, so please share the show. And that is all for episode 18. Check back with us next week on episode 19. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for having me.
All right, that concludes this episode of the Onsite Podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please pay the tax, share the show. Guys, if you want to be a part of the Elite Builder Society, all you got to do is pay $49 a month. That's it. $49 a month. You get 20 group coaching calls every month. Okay? Go to ebsworks.com and register today. If you enjoyed the show, please pay the tax and share the show.